Will everyone please rise and face the flag for our national anthem?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott and Ken and our good friends from Eagan TV. We are at the Eric Bakke Memorial Field in Inver Grove Heights, Minnesota for this Friday night tilt. The Simley Spartans are hosting our beloved Big Blue Eagan Wildcats. Scott, another matchup, the second or third this week. It's becoming kind of a blur. What are we looking for?
Again, we think this is a game we should probably win pretty handily. Similar to last night, probably be a little bit closer. Feels like this team's a little more skilled. A lot of the same themes as we talked to you about 24 hours ago. Good, smart play, smart positional play, good, crisp passing, good execution. Stay sharp during this time. If the game does get 5, 10, 15 goals in distance, treat it like a practice, but it's a live game, right? Use it, you get something out of it. And Thursday night, Coach Felter was able to get a lot of the roster, some extended playing time in the game. So, again, getting those guys that are seeing a little less minutes, more minutes against live action against an opponent. So there's things that you can get out of this. First things first, establish your presence, your dominance, build a lead, and then get on to the other stuff that I just mentioned.
What do the Spartans bring? We've talked extensively, and tonight will probably not be an exception. We are working on our face-off game, but position to position, poles, goalie, face-off, does anything stand out with the Spartans tonight?
Understand they have a pretty strong face-off specialist. We'll certainly get a look at that tonight. Understand against the cadets from St. Thomas earlier in the week on Wednesday. He won the majority of the face-offs. Would tell you he's pretty decent, so we'll see what he's got, and we'll see how our guys respond, right? We've talked a lot about if you can't win them clean, get in there, block, get position, slow them down, let Meisinger, let Gallus, let Stone get in there and get the ball.
Advantage Blue on that face-off, but a little bit of a hold, and possession Spartans as they get their touch and they move in, ball on the ground. This is a turf field tonight, Scott, so the ground ball should really be crisp and effective.
Yeah, and we shouldn't see as much slipping and sliding and falling as we've had the last two games this week. Both Apple Valley Stadium and Wildcat Stadium probably not in the best playing condition yet, and then we had that rain earlier in the day on Tuesday, which mucked things up a little bit too. But it's dry, it's warm. Dry, it's not warm. It's decent, dry turf. We should not have the slippage tonight or the poor field conditions that we experienced.
Ball down over on the sideline. Spartans do recover. A little harassment by Thrall. Cody Rader got involved in that one. Miscue by the Spartan, and it's going to be a turnover, unforced, effectively, and Eagan ball.
Again, this was the first 45 seconds of the game, but I saw some dropped balls, some errant passes, some basic fundamental mishaps on Simley's part, and I wonder if that's, in the St. Thomas game, if they can win the majority of the faceoffs and still lose by 10, 11 goals, I can understand how that would happen. Or you can win a faceoff like Simley did and then effectively an unforced turnover, and now the ball's in Eagan's hands.
And, we've gotten some intel that their goaltender is effective, and the question is looking at their schedule, it's unlikely that they've faced the multiplicity of firepower that the Eagan Wildcats bring tonight as Schultz takes a quick peek, quick shot, and a goal.
Quick 1-0 lead. Yeah, St. Thomas has some formidable players. Luke Williams is going to be one of the top attack men in the metro area in the state this year. But Eagan's got a wave of people, and we've talked throughout the first half of the season about can we get other scores. We're seeing some other people in addition to the big three establish themselves as scoring threats. And one of the challenges for Simley tonight, if you shut down Schultz, if you shut down Wilson, you got to deal with the other four.
Yeah, precisely. We're deep in that respect.
And if you get them out of the rhythm, you got a couple more coming. So, how do they match up against kind of the firepower that Eagan will bring? That's how we can. Yeah. That you know what? It wasn't a clean win, but we have possession, and we held up their face-off guy. Meisinger got in there, and a lot of speed from Meisinger. Picks up the ground balls really cleanly. And,
kind of an unforced error, but so 10-13 remaining quarter one, 1-0 Eagan. Both face-offs very similar. Ball on the ground, two guys trying to clamp, kind of circling and fighting for it. Maybe we are turning the corner with regard to kind of some of that fundamental face-off decorum, and we've got Schultz picking up a loose ball and kind of marching and looking back and finds, just out of reach of number 2, Ryan Colbert. Spartans will take over.
So what started that, though, was number 8 for the Spartans, Cole Sheeta. He was running down the field and just dropped the ball. There was a little pressure on him, but certainly not a stick check of anything. He just dropped the ball.
Yep.
On first turnover. One of the things put as the Spartans' key to the game is limit turnovers.
Absolutely.
Don't just freely give the ball away. And that's happened twice now early in the game. Once in Eagan's zone and then once around the midfield area.
Little pick by Donley, a little shovel pass to Meisinger, who has been known to get that ball quick. He's got guys, and he decides to take a shot. Nice save.
That's a good stop.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew
dangerous clearing pass, but connected.
Andrew Syvertson is the goalie, a senior for the Spartans. So again, the Spartans, Simley, are setting up here. Can they make some passes? Can they connect and run their offense without, some unforced errors that we've seen early in the game so far? 2 or 3 pretty big ones.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, too, that is really a key to the game for the Spartans. It's one thing to kind of, shut down some aspect of the Eagan Wildcat game. You cannot shoot yourself in the foot. Big shot, little wide. That went to Manny Steele, the senior goaltender's left. Looks like it's going to retain possession by the Spartans.
Yeah, nice way to get in the way of that. Steele saw it all the way. In position, directs the ball wide. Bounce in front of the net, no harm done.
No, it looks like they're just going to. Steele gave it a nice effort, but they are going to. Spartans will retain possession again. Being called back to the end line. Got a little ahead of himself there.
One of the differences for those of you that have been viewing a lot of our games, if you can draw back to the Eastridge game or to Tuesday night, when the Simley attacks and midfielders try to make a move to get out in front of the net, the difference in the speed, it's night and day. The Eagan defenders simply have to just get their feet down and be there. Those more skilled attackmen, midfielders, were able to get around them and generate some more problems. There's a simple difference in speed, number one. That's something I'm noticing right away, and you might be noticing at home. And the unforced errors, from a better team, you're going to see a little bit less of that.
8 minutes remaining, quarter one, 1-0 Cats. Spartans with the ball. They seem patient. And again, too, along with that patience kind of re-emphasizes the need to not miscue because there's, more passes that they're trying to make connect. And they're going to probably wind up taking a shot here pretty shortly. Nice.
There again, there was a little bit. I credit that a little bit to the defense and Cole Gibson. But again, it's something that a varsity lacrosse player should be able to hang on to and get around that. So credit the effort on the Wildcat side. But again, it's another turnover, right?
Right.
And another key for the Spartans, establish possession and slow the game down. And that's what they were trying to do. But you could kind of see they were getting anxious to force something. And guy made a move, and it's like, keep playing catch, right? If Eagan doesn't have the ball, they can't score.
Yeah, that is clearly a wise move on anyone's part. Again, when you're maybe a little out firepowered, is to get possession and slow the game down. Like Cole Gibson trying to take a look, looking behind the net. I'm not sure where he was going with that one. The Wildcats have been looking to work it inside. They've taken a few shots from up top as the senior goaltender's taking a look and gets rid of it. Like to see them work it inside as opposed to just, firing shots. I mean, we need quality shots as well. 1-0 Cats still.
Right, and we had, I think early in the game last night when we were getting opportunities Tuesday night, we were getting those inside shots, those cuts, those slices. That seems to be a recipe that works for the Wildcats. And you haven't quite seen that yet tonight. Again, the game's we're 6 minutes in, so.
So for the sake of argument, the longer this game lingers around 1-2, 3-0, advantage Simley.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a moral victory, right, to keep this within 1 or 2 goals. And then, right, what can happen when you're the Wildcats? You can start pressing a little bit. And you start, we're only up 2-0,
yep,
and
you squeeze a little bit.
Simley.
Diffley with a nice look. It looked like Schultz tried to go back door. It came off the post. Colbert, Johnny on the spot, scoop shot, score. 2-0 Cats, 5:56 left in the first. I think we did see, Scott, too, how quickly this kind of lethargic 1-0, 2-0 game could suddenly be a 6-0 game.
Right, it can, yeah, absolutely.
We're still kind of that team that, we know what we can do, but we kind of ease into that comfort zone of pass, shoot, pass, shoot. And I think if what we've seen in a few contests so far this year is any, predicator, we're going to maybe see, a couple more goals fall into the back of the net here pretty quickly.
Right, and I think then mentally what that does to the Spartans is like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, you get a little flat, and then it gets worse.
They're up 6-0. They're looking at the scoreboard, and all of a sudden the game's over, right? And you're absolutely right. Kenny Eagan can score fast, and it could be 6-0 by the 3-minute mark, right? But we're not suggesting that it will be, but they certainly have that ability to score fast. And even on that recent sequence there, what looked like potentially could have been a turnover quickly, boom, turns into a goal there.
Yeah, we got good field awareness, good ability to control the sticks, pick up the balls. Again, what's about to happen here in the center of the field is key for both teams. Winning face-offs is key, and them keeping the ball out of our hands, at least from the get-go, is also pretty important.
So we believe number 10 is Jack Hintermeister. That would be the first time he's taken face-offs this year. At one point, we know we had some questions about who was wearing 10 and who was wearing 14. So I'm going to go with Hintermeister's 10 and Pavic is 14 until somebody tells us otherwise.
Right, yeah. Please text the booth if you know who we are, and we'll make sure that we clarify that.
Again, no reason to know that it's off, but again, it's the first time we've seen Hintermeister take a face off this year, and typically Pavic has been one of the rotation of 3 that have been doing it. Colby Sorensen moving around, trying to create a little space, make a play here. Still has possession of the ball, being pursued.
Wilson with a fake. Oh, I thought someone was reaching for the flag on that one.
Yeah, possibly. They were thinking about it, right? Good patience here. Wilson made a move. There wasn't anything there. He pulls back, and we reset, and we see Schultz up top, and he's going to take a try at it here.
Yeah, he can clearly make some room for himself. But also got good feel back to Billy Diffley up top, just under 5 minutes, 2-0 Wildcats here in Inver Grove Heights on this Friday night.
Jack
Thompson down low, exactly.
Like to see the patience, a little slower game than we're used to seeing the Wildcats playing, but it's like let's take advantage of the situation and see what we can execute here. People are.
Here you go.
Okay, so we 10 Hintermeister, 14 Pavic. Good. It's one of those things. It shakes your confidence when we were surprised by it a couple of contests ago, and so now we're thinking about it.
Right. See, we're not immune to that kind of stuff either.
We're accusing the Simley players of potentially starting to think about the score, and here we are, like we're perplexed by jersey numbers.
We got the yips up in the box here, just like anybody else.
There's a lot of pressure.
There
on
really
us.
is.
Yeah,
you guys
absolutely.
you and the viewing audience have no idea.
This is high stakes up here,
That's
right?
Just like Grandma Gibson, a little shout out to her down in Chicago, just relaxing, enjoying the game while we're up here doing the work. Big save, maybe the post.
Understand she's a regular viewer. I know she tuned into some of the JV contests last year. Glad to have you back, Grandma Gibson.
Work on some autograph photographs of the game broadcast team. We'll see if we can get those in the mail for you here real soon once we get some ourselves. So one thing that was really impressive there, Scott, is an extended possession by the Wildcats, which serves you whether you're in a game where you're evenly matched or whether you're in a game that you are, at a different level than your opponent. Having possession in this sport is king.
It is, absolutely. Being able to maintain it, play catch, make an attempt at the play, back off, reset if it doesn't work. You also saw in that last possession, you saw the versatility of your attacks and middies, being able to, in essence, switch around and rotate through positions, or as Schultz would take it high, Colbert would take his place on the X, right? Rotation, that flexibility and adaptability to read the play and adjust and play your space, whether you're an attackman, a midi, right, or whatever.
Nice stick check by Thrall, gets the ball on the turf. Nice scoop, takes it across the center line, finds Wilson, who is going to give it back to Max Meekin, maybe some of the first minutes we've seen Max out there tonight. He's quick, and we've seen him on the football field, and we've seen him as big save there, a little quick give and go to Colbert. Long clearing pass by their goaltender. Little bit of a personnel issue there. The shot a little short and gone. Going to maintain possession by the Spartans, but it looked like that the Eagan defense and the whole Eagan squad was just a little bit one step behind that last rush. It cleared pretty quickly. No harm, no foul, and the Spartans will try to reset as the ball hits the turf. Cody Rader trying to take on a couple guys, like Donley in there to give some help. A lot of pushing, but you hear the fans in the crowd calling for the push. But
there we got it. We got it. The blue crowd likes that. They agree with the call.
Absolutely.
And
back to the goalie, and we're on for running again. I wouldn't be surprised, Scott, if maybe a raindrop or two fell out of the sky tonight. It was walking its way in from the west as Whips brings it across.
It sure was. We had a clear, sunny sky about 45 minutes ago, and it's less of that right now.
Looks like Whips kind of knuckled his way in and got a shot on goal. Big save. Just under 2 minutes at 1:40, 2-0 Cats.
A couple of nice saves by Syvertson early tonight. Doing a nice job.
There's a guy coming in kind of unabated. Oh, that might have been a nice save by Steele.
Yeah, very good save, good positioning. So, Simley's getting the ball. I wouldn't say their scoring chances are high percentage, right? They're getting some shots, but they're Steele's getting a good look at the shooting lane. No real threat as of yet.
No, I got a flag down back here. Cats have the ball clearly against the Spartans. That was my next comment. That last shot, while a pretty good shot, fairly unobstructed and kind of a routine save by Steele, so that worked out real well. So Max, I can't see the number. Looks like it can't be Diffley.
It was Meekin. Yeah, we saw the. Oh, another big save on Schultz. This ball's still loose. Schultz picks up the rebound, and
they're going to call crease.
They they are.
Well, I think it was now the ref that we see on near side was about ready to raise his hands. He was waved off by the gentleman on the far side, and we're going to call crease violation, and pretty subjective. It's there's a lot of stuff going on down there.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot to look for, and he made the call.
He did.
Precisely. We can't change it.
We just report it.
Yeah, right.
44 seconds remaining, quarter one, 2-0 Cats. And again, too, while I think quarter one advantage Eagan, I do think that there, and we talked about it earlier, this kind of tight score does wonders for the Spartans and how they view their efforts in quarter one.
Yeah, they're certainly it's gonna keep their confidence up. Again, I feel like Eagan's gonna get to a point here, and you mentioned it earlier, where they're gonna get a couple, 2, 3, 4 quick ones and kind of put some distance between themselves. And there's a nice shot by Tanner Whips.
Whips from Schultz from the top. we've taken a few shots from the top, but at the same time, we've worked the ball inside a number of times. So we're not a one-trick pony by any means at 3-0, 17 seconds remaining quarter one. But no, like we had talked about already, once that scab comes off, a few could find the back of the net in a hurry.
Yeah, and again, we've got Syvertson's made some stops, right? Some big stops. I think to really get things going, quick passes from behind the net. Cross field, right, quick catch him moving and get some quick shots. I think that might be our best bet, right, to really get some rolling in. Whips did get a nice one there from outside, but I think that's going to be the way to get the goalie moving, get him on his toes, catch the defense out of position, and create an opportunity.
Nice job by Donley to get a stick on the turf and just kick that ball out of traffic. He finds Wilson, who, as time ticks off, stone shot.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, that's good. That's a goal. That was clearly a goal, and it was very, very close. But I think the ref wanted that goal from Schultz with the crease violation to go. So he clearly had an eye on the clock and made sure that he was well aware of the entire situation. So we go 4-0 Wildcats after one in Inver Grove Heights. Jack Stone with that fourth goal. So Scott, real quickly, quarter one.
Okay, the face-offs, we've mitigated them a little bit. It's not as bad. We've been able to slow them down. They're some unforced errors by Simley. No real threats in our end, and good ball movement. Syvertson's made some big saves. This one could be 8-0 if it wasn't for 8 or 9-0 if it wasn't for some of those big saves he's made in front of the net on a couple of Eagan's big scores. So, let's see where we go from here. But no real surprises yet. 4 goals, good quarter, right?
Right, and I think that difference of 4-0 is right in the sweet spot of Simley kept it close, or Eagan is starting to exert its will.
Yeah, and I think the goal as time expires might oddly enough in the scheme of that might be the thing that's like, oh, there's a difference, a big difference psychologically between 3-0 and 4-0.
I would agree.
At the end of the quarter, and we've talked a lot about 5-goal leads not being safe, but this again feels just a little different. Again, like at the end of the first quarter last night, it was 6-1. It was like, this is okay.
Yeah,
right?
I like it. So, Scott, we got a new feature tonight and down the stretch. It is our senior spotlight.
Yeah, this is something the broadcast teams in previous years have done, and we wanted to continue that tradition to kind of honor our seniors. We have 7 seniors on the squad. We have 7 games remaining that we are able to broadcast. So we're going to start tonight with Tommy Forche. He is injured and not able to play for the season, but he has chosen to remain with the team, stay engaged, be a full-fledged member of the team, doing what he can, whether it's warming the goalie up, helping the team, being a moral support, taking on a leadership role, even though he isn't able to get out on the field. So we wanted to start with him. We think that's just a real special thing that young man has done, and he wants to make a contribution to the program in his senior year, even though he can't go out on the field and do things. So Tom was a middie. This would have been his 3rd year on the varsity squad. Certainly a talented player. He will be playing lacrosse next year at Rockhurst. It's just outside of Kansas City. It's a Division II school, so that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for him. Talented young man, good lacrosse player, and unfortunately injuries happen. It happened in a fall lacrosse game, but he's going to get an opportunity to continue his career at the next level, which was great. Parents, Jill and Bob, I think many of you know who they are. They were around at games and social events and such like that. Tom has 2 older sisters, 1 older brother. Older brother played in the Eagan program several years ago, was a fine lacrosse player. Tom, a number of other activities, played youth hockey coming up through the Eagan Hockey Association, played junior gold hockey, intramural basketball at the high school, which I know is a popular activity amongst a lot of the guys on the team, and was involved in the Green Club. Most memorable Lax moment, he talks about being a part of that 2017 state championship team. And again, most of the guys here, last year, this year, that come through that were on that team, that's their most memorable moment. And how can it not be? It's just fabulous. So I had the opportunity to coach Tommy in hockey in Pee Wee when he was a 7th grader. And he truly is a great player to have on your team. A lot of energy, good leadership. He's kind of was the pulse of the locker room, one of the leaders of the team, and could get the guys going in the locker room and could really get things going on the ice with that the energy of his personality and that energy displayed. And it's just a real great kid, and it's just certainly a pleasure to watch the young man grow up, watch him have some success on the lacrosse field, and again get an opportunity to play collegiately. So Tommy Forsha, great, good job. Great leader for the program. We are so thankful that you've continued to be a part of the program this year, even though you're not playing, and we wish you nothing but the best of luck next year at Rockhurst.
Absolutely. Well done, Scott. Yes, seeing him out there supporting the team still, given the fact that he can't play, very inspiring. It says a lot about the kid's character.
Yeah, so. Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah, he's a guy you want on your team. He really is.
All right, Cats got the ball back. We kind of let the action on the field speak for itself. Saw a couple of one big save for sure by the Spartan goaltender. The Cats have effectively, there's a nice stick check on Gibson. Spartans are trying to get the ground ball, but we're at 9:54 in quarter two. And the Cats have kind of controlled the pace of play and had possession this second quarter as we're sitting at 4-0. Spartans have the ball and they're setting up.
So, again, they're going to want to keep it slow, hold possession, don't let Eagan have the ball. And like we said earlier, the challenge is can they keep possession and not turn the ball over on their own accord, which has been a little bit of an issue so far in the game.
There's clearly been some unforced errors. Right now, the perimeter defense is holding up nicely, and they just don't have a lot of – they just haven't really put a real threat together. They're able to pass the ball around quite a bit as they're moving in a little close here with a shot and a score, as we just say how the perimeter game has been holding up nicely.
It was Josh Johnson, senior midfielder. Nifty little move there, got off a good quick shot. So it gives the Spartans a little life, right? Brings that back to the 3-goal deficit, which helps, right? That's their first. That was their first really good-looking scoring opportunity of the game, and they converted.
Well, and again, too, that's the first time that they've actually run that ball up so close to the post, and you just gain that one step, and you get a shot from that close in, and it's a high percentage shot. Actually, the pole is oftentimes kind of contributing to a little bit of a screening thing. Got to be movement on the Spartans. And the Big Blue will take over. But, yeah, those are tough ones to defend. So Cats got to just kind of reset. A little misstep on the Eagan Wildcats' part.
So the Wildcats giving the Spartans letting them have a little life here. Let's see if we can force a turnover.
That'd be a timeout. Simley would be my guess.
Simley got it. Yeah, they were in a bit of trouble there, and they were about to turn the ball over in what could have been a quick, dangerous 2-on-1 or potentially a 3-on-1 if Eagan had picked up the ball.
Skies continue to darken here in Inver Grove as the weather system that's supposed to do a little something to the metropolitan area tonight is seemingly making its way in. I can't tell if we're picking up any sprinkles. I don't think so yet.
Doesn't appear so. We don't see any umbrellas out or any type of rain gear.
No. So again, too, Scott, we've had big first quarters in a couple of contests this year, and then it's that second quarter that we may look at the score and say, okay, we're exerting some will on these folks.
Yeah.
And then we kind of get off the accelerator a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like we get off of our rhythm a little bit,
just
right?
a little bit. And so it's almost like you kind of wish one of those power outages that we had at Eagan Wildcat Stadium would take the scoreboard out so that the kids could just say, hey, let's just keep passing, shooting, and scoring, and not worry about the 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. Every goal, isn't of itself, on its own merit.
Yeah, play your game. Play your game, whether it's 0-0, 5-0 in your opponent's favor, 5-0 in your favor. Play the game, play your game, execute the game plan, and
long clearing pass, unsuccessful. Yeah, Tommy Meisinger's been kind of a sniper this year. I was looking at some stats. He's really been all over a lot of the different defensive type statistical things with ground balls and forced turnovers and things like that. Another perfect opportunity there. He just eyeballed it, jumped up, and took it down.
Yeah, playing a little free safety, I think, is what we would call that, right?
Like that.
We had, football can never be too far from our verbiage here. So, just great anticipation. What happened, stepped up and picked it off, and got a possession for Eagan.
Cats are going to maintain. Schultz will get it started for us here. Over to Wilson, and they'll kind of take it back up top. And we decided that was Hintermeister, or Pavic is in 14.
Yeah, Pavic's 14, Hintermeister 10. We're probably going to be struggling with us on game
so.
13. And, hopefully they'll just change numbers next year. Then we won't have to worry about it. But good shot.
Yeah, there has
nice
been some great saves out of that Spartan goalie. He's earning his keep tonight for sure.
Yeah, that's boy. I am counting 5, 6 big saves now.
Yeah, Colby Sorensen had a nice pickoff opportunity as the Spartans were kind of pushing the issue. That one might get out of bounds, and it did. Turnover. Big Blue will take the ball back. Looks like Donley's going to dish it off to Sorensen, I believe. Yeah, but another opportunity. The ball was in and out of Sorensen's stick, so these long passes. I don't know if their field vision isn't fantastic because Meisinger sniped one. Colby Sorensen almost sniped one just a few moments ago as well.
Yep. So pulling up a little image of the radar here. We had a little maybe rain showers off to the west. The question will be how long does it take to arrive in Inver Grove Heights? Again, is it an hour or 2 hours away or 3? Again, it looks like just some garden variety rain, which wouldn't stop the game from being played. But again, we don't have a good gauge on how far away it is. Hopefully, we get this one in and everybody stays dry. And
we're not weathermen.
We're not. No.
6:43 remaining. Sky is darkened slightly, but like Scott said, it probably will not have a great impact on the game being on turf, being garden variety, and the forecasts all day did not talk about anything real ferocious.
No. Lightning is obviously the thing that would.
There's another perfect opportunity we make our own opportunities, and while again we may be personnel wise just a little bit in a different place than the Spartans, you get used to anticipating against whomever that your opponent is. And so there's another opportunity where Wilson jumped ship on that one, and it was nothing but green grass. Of course, the goalie did everything in his power to get back there, but little drop shoulder and got himself a real clear shot. 5-1 Eagan over the Spartans right now. 6:23 remaining, quarter number 2. And that's kind of demoralizing because the fact of the matter is that really didn't have to at least get off and running the way it did.
No, it didn't. And boy, the defender even tried his best to tackle Drew Wilson. And
would have been a good penalty.
Yeah, it would have been.
Probably.
He was able to get through, get a shot off. And goalie Syverson, unfortunately, wasn't able to stop it, right? So
we got Hintermeister in the circle here, again adding his name to the longer list of by committee face-off guys. And again, we've clamped down and locked up pretty well. It hasn't been real clean by either team. The last couple have maybe been advantage Spartans, and we'll see how this one goes.
What you're not seeing though is a clean win and a sprint down the middle of the field by the Spartan face-off.
And this is another perfect example. If you can count to 2
yes.
before that ball gets out of that initial scrum, we're at right now, that's a win for us because we've got Gallus, we've got Meisinger, we've got guys that can hustle in there and get that scoop off the ground.
Flag down. That'll be on Simley when.
Could have been I thought I heard a few parents in the yell Ward in the stands on that last little shoulder dip, but play looks like it's going to stop here. We're going to get the call. I don't even see the flag.
It's over on the far side of the field. But I don't see.
There's not a real sense of urgency, although maybe. I'm used to seeing guys go to the other side of the field, so now we've got number 2.
It's number 2 is down. That's Jacob Hegman, the face-off specialist. 30-second hold on.
30-second hold on number Hegman. 2.
Okay. Man-up situation, quick 30 seconds. Again, work it around, get a good clean shot, take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, almost without regard to who you are, you don't want to get the Wildcats into a man-up situation. We're used to moving the ball around, and 30 seconds is plenty of time. Getting a lot of those high shots from the perimeter.
Yeah, the goalie's doing a nice job on those.
He really
sees those. And, again, I think we got to get the ball moving laterally a little bit or vertically from behind the net, if that makes sense. He's getting he can see those, right?
Nicely done by Whips on the push out.
We've got some guys with hard shots, but some of those he's got a good line of sight to him, and he's pretty skilled. And,
yep.
He's stopped those again. Some good saves there. So.
I think that, again, the goalie has demonstrated that he's got good vision tonight, and he is stopping those. So that might be a call to, especially in a man-up situation, a call to try to make some space and get some passing done. Stone doing everything in his power to stay in bounds, and he might have just got the line there. Yeah, he was getting pinballed around, and he just towed the line on that last little body check. I don't believe it was a timeout, or was it? It was
yeah, they did get a timeout.
Good,
yeah, great. Yeah, it's a little hard to see that it's a navy blue or a black. It's a little tricky to see on that worn surface in what would be in the football team area. So 5-1. We're a little over halfway through the second quarter. I think our shot selections, maybe needs to shift a little more, quicker ball movement through the offensive zone to put Simley's goalie on his heels and get him moving around, because if he's set, get his stick up and he sees the lane, he's probably going to stop it.
He's got good vision tonight, and again, if you're going back and forth or from the back behind him into the slot there, it's a lot tougher to get set up and make a good save. But no, from the top, he's done a really nice job. He's probably got between a half a dozen and a dozen saves, really quality saves, as the timeout is over, and the Wildcats will try to get started again. So,
and again, we've been talking over the last couple days. Hey, as we get into the back third of our schedule, we'll see better attackmen, better face-off, better midfielders, defense. We'll see some pretty good goalies here too coming up, and it's good that we get this opportunity to face a goalie who can stop shots, right? He can stop those shots that some other goalies might watch sail past him. So again, good.
Not really sure.
Good,
big save.
Good preparation for what's to come.
Yeah, Meakin, who's got good wheels, kind of snaked his way through traffic, dumped it off to one of the poles. Donley, who is getting it off quick to Whips. Now we get the touch, and we're kind of rocking and rolling, and doesn't look like Whips is going to slow down anytime soon, but he got it over to Wilson, who lost his footing for a moment. Little no-look fake pass, and then turned quick and lost his footing. It'll go up top to Gibby, Cole Gibson, and we'll slow it down here with 4:12 remaining quarter two. 5-1 Cats here over at Eric Bakke Memorial Stadium in Inver Grove Heights on this Friday night. Ball on the ground. And out of the bounds. No, did it make it? We got a penalty flag down. Probably a slash. Could be some sort of a push too. Let's see what the call is. We had that Spartan in trouble as he was trying to kind of get his bearings and start the march down the field. We got a 1 minute tripping penalty against number 9, Cole Gibson. 3:53 remaining. 5-1 Cats. I believe this is the first man down situation that Eagan will find itself in. Again, too, with some of the unforced errors, Scott, it's a good possibility that we could get possession back and then kind of take some of the life out of this 1 minute penalty.
Yeah, we sure could. Eagan's man down has been pretty solid this year. Again, we don't have the exact numbers in front of us, but just going off a recollection, it's not been a serious issue.
That's exactly
there
what
we
we're
forced
talking
a turnover and picked it up. Great call there.
Now here's where we, this is where it has to kind of slow down just a little bit. Still getting Meisinger in the act, and again, it isn't a 6-5 game where you are going to hold on to that ball a little longer. We did turn it right back over with, probably half the penalty remaining. Spartans march in, get the touch. Defense, the short defense, trying to get set. But they kind of handed us one there, Scott, in the clean turnover.
Yeah, they did. It was just a clean pick. And Another. Looks like we're going to get another one, and Meisinger's going to get that picked up.
And most of the penalty is probably over, but I think Colbert's going to slow it down a little bit.
Got the ball picked from him.
Little Malachi crunch and the ball out of bounds. I don't know if they can. The ref looked like he was going to get all moving in there, but the boys kind of gave a little man hug real quick.
It was a creative way to a double check, maybe.
Yeah, so it was the Malachi crunch, which ended in the man hug, and the ref did not need to go in there and exert his, hey, guys, let's keep it clean, because we clearly did.
Another little bit of a drop there, having some problems hanging on to the ball.
Push, and probably be Spartan ball on that one there. Penalties over. Going to get things kind of reset here briefly.
So Simley's just kind of hanging around here. We thought maybe when Eagan got that fourth goal, that might break things open a little bit. And
there's a flag. Yeah, it's going to be a slash on Gallus, I believe.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I think, being as far away as we are.
Boy, another great play there by Meisinger.
Yeah, Meisinger's all over the place tonight, and another flag comes down. In. So offsetting, maybe. I didn't see what happened on the second one. No, I do know.
I wonder if there was some extracurriculars after when the player was on the ground. It looks like. So that's.
Meisinger's walking.
Meisinger's coming, and is Gallus coming too?
Yeah, Gallus probably gets a slash. And again, too, if the ref, it probably sounded.
Okay, we got a slash and a push, and it's an LSM party in the penalty area.
Yeah, it really is. And timeout probably.
By Simley, I would think.
Yeah, Simley, they're going to game plan this. They got a minute and a half. They got 30 seconds of a two-man advantage. 2:14 remaining first half. 5-1 Eagan. The Spartans will find themselves in a two-man advantage for the next 30 seconds, and then a one-man advantage for a minute following that after the infractions.
So again, Simley is thinking, hey, if we can get a goal out of this and get out into the locker room down 3 at halftime, wow. That's, again, low scoring, slower pace of the game. The game feels like it's grinding a little bit, feels like kind of getting lulled to sleep, a slow quarter for the Wildcats. So they see an opportunity to keep this game competitive. And the Wildcats, you have your two top LSMs sitting in the penalty box. Those are, those guys are on the field in your man down situations. So you've got, two of your top two LSMs on the side. So it'll be interesting to see what lineup Eagan goes with here to manage this situation, because it's, you're four players.
Well, clearly we need to, for just about the balance of the first half here, we're going to be at in a man down situation, 2 men down, for the next 30. So it could be a golden opportunity for the Spartans to climb back in this. At least a little bit.
So in this alignment, 4 poles on the field. Again, you can have up to 4 long poles on the field at a time, and in a 6-on-4. That's what you want. Let them play. Thrall's good in that close. We've commented on that throughout the year, in that close contact, one-on-one, man-on ball situation. That's where he excels.
Yeah, he's a big kid too. Yeah, so if he bumps into you,
aggressive player. Big turnover here if we can pick it up.
It's, again, this is a situation where I think the extra defender on the field is, at this point, is the Spartans.
And we've got the first one back here, so we got our.
Stone's going to return to make us down 1.
Yeah, Manny Steele saw. It went over the net, but Steele saw that one all the way.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a shot, but like you said, it was not it was easily contestable. So. Big save there.
Big save.
Now I've got to clear it out, and it looks like that is
Raider
with the scoop. He dumps it down to Steele, who's trying to keep control of it. Clears. Not the best clearing, kind of at the feet of Tanner Whips.
He was able to gain control of it.
He was.
So now Eagan with possession. A shot there. And Schultz has got it in possession. He's going to take a look and try and.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be. You might as well, once you have possession, find a good shot. We're probably back at full strength now. So try to get one more. Looks like Stone's going to take a stab at her. Colbert with the rebound. Gibson with the rebound.
You know what? It looked like we were rushing a little bit there, and there was still 45 seconds left on the clock. It's like
that's a
thought
long
the boys
time.
would slow it down, collect yourselves,
look for a good
reset,
shot.
and run the play. Right, run the offense, do what you need to do, and they're just fortunately maintain possession of the ball. But that little break in the action might have served us well.
There we go.
And Tanner Whips converts on that. Tanner Whips on the goal. I would assume Jack Stone will get the assist on that one. I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're giving it to him. Yeah, you got to.
22 from 5.
Should be 22 from 5.
Whips from Stone with 20 seconds remaining. So, again, too, kind of a hauntingly familiar halftime score. We've seen it at the end of a couple of different quarters. It's a 5-goal margin. I think the Spartans can still say, hey, look at us. We're hanging around. We've blown a few opportunities. We've blown a big man-up situation. Our execution has not been crisp. We've won, over half the face-offs probably. Not and there's one for the Wildcats with 16 seconds as Stone's kind of getting his field goggles on. Shot and a score.
Oh, got another one. Yeah, now that's the kind of thing that can, again, we talked about scoring fast. We've now got 2 goals in 13 seconds.
Yeah, so 7-1 Cats. That's Stone unassisted with 7.6 seconds remaining first half. And again, those are kind of the sequence of events that can inflict a lot of damage to the soul as you're sending yourself into halftime.
Yeah, because when Simley took that timeout on that 2-man up, they're thinking, all right, let's get it down to 3. Well, they don't convert, make a couple turnovers, and now they're down 6.
Yeah, and again, too, that was a real seriously uncashed opportunity for them in that I can think of at least, 2 clear miscues on the Spartans during that man-up situation. And there is the horn, which is fortunately outside of the box tonight.
Oh,
so
thank goodness.
We are sitting here at halftime in Inver Grove Heights on this Friday night. It's boys lacrosse contest. Our Eagan Wildcats 7, the Simley Spartans 1. Scott, again, what sticks out in the first half?
The unforced errors and the mistakes by Simley. I mean, you just every time you look up, dropping balls that shouldn't be dropped, miscues on passes, just some basic stick and handwork that's just not there. And right now, it's preventing Simley from being in this game. And as I look down, I look at the results of some of the other games. It's like it's probably the reason they're not closer in those other games too. And that's simple, basic stuff. And we take that for granted in Eagan. Our guys got coached from an early age: wall ball, passing, catching, the basics that lay the foundation for what we see today. I'm not suggesting it didn't get coached. We just aren't seeing evidence on the field. And it's the thing that's keeping Simley's got a pretty decent goalie, adequate face-off man. They're having trouble holding on to the ball.
And you mentioned the goalie, and that was my next point. You say to yourself, okay, with this abundance of miscues, why aren't the Spartans down by double-digit goals? Because of that goaltending tonight.
Absolutely.
I think he probably has had upwards of 10 to 12 really, really impressive saves that are keeping this game, even within reach at this point.
Yeah, 3 or 4 of them were point blank. I mean, he made 3, 4, 5 big saves that would, in most cases, have been goals. And then we're talking with a completely different outcome. So, hey, let's see what happens in the second half. I think the Wildcats got to keep rolling. If Simley keeps making those unforced errors, this lead's going to grow and grow and grow as the game wears on. So, we are at the exact halfway point of the regular season. We're halfway through Game 7. So. It goes fast.
It does.
Come back for the second half here and on the downslope into the sectional playoffs.
So we'll keep our eyes on the sky as we send you off into halftime. This is Scott and Ken with our good friends from Eagan TV. We're in Inver Grove Heights for this Friday night tilt. We'll come back after the balance of halftime, get you back into quarter 3, and as the game wears on, we'll look ahead and see who the Eagan Wildcats have on their schedule. We'll talk to you guys shortly. This is Ken and Scott and Eagan TV in Inver Grove. All right. Hey, lacrosse sports fans, we are back. This is Ken and Scott. We got Aaron and Nick here from ETV, and they are getting the job done. We are fortunate enough to be in the press box here at Eric Bakke Stadium in Inver Grove Heights as the teams take the field, and that little bit of precipitation that we had talked about, it has arrived.
Yeah, I walked outside to get some fresh air, and I'm like, I feel raindrops on my head, and it's we now notice the presence of some umbrellas, some jackets coming on. It's spring weather in Minnesota. It's May 3rd, but a little chilly when the sun went under, the clouds, rain. Fortunately, there's not too much of a breeze. The flag's pretty quiet right now.
Quiet.
So back at it for the second half here, and let's see what we got. See if the Wildcats can jump out and put 3 or 4 quick goals on the board.
12 minutes on the clock. 7-1 Wildcats as the Spartans had possession briefly. A big stick check left a stick on the ground. Soren Thrall back to Manny Steele, who's looking, and trying to clear. Gets it up to Gibson, who's trying to get the midfield line, and does.
Finally gets free. Yeah,
he did. And getting pushed around all over the place,
Now he's still running. He's going to need a little
he is going to need some
here.
help, and he's going to need some help, right?
Well, another we talked about, Max Meekin, 3-sport athlete, Cole Gibson, another one, football, hockey, lacrosse. So pretty confident he's in good condition.
Oh, big save
huge
again.
Save. Wow.
And that was an amazing feed. So you got Colbert behind the net trying to work his way up. He kind of gives a no look and then dishes it right in front of the crease to Schultz, who gave a head shake and a shot, and the goalie never flinched. Big, huge save. 11 minutes remaining, so we got a minute clicked off here. It's kind of been Wildcats for the vast majority of that minute. 7-1, period 3. And there are plenty of umbrellas out. I don't think it's ferocious by any means, but it's just an annoying little thing. You might as well stay dry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Walking in is Gibson with I believe with a big shot.
Yeah, it was Gibson with a bounce shot. Couldn't get it through.
Nope. Cats will maintain. Looks like Schultz is going to track a ball down and get us going here again.
Meekin, Gibson, Ben Willery, also a 3-sport athlete. I believe he is a soccer player in the fall. So Tanner Whips with a nice shot there.
No goal.
No goal.
Looks like he's wound up on the outside of the net. I'm not exactly sure how that.
He was going low, looking for try to catch the goalie in a vulnerable position. So.
Now, we talked about a lot of miscues, or at least an abundance of miscues on the part of the Spartans, which may have kind of, prevented them from, getting a little bit further back into this game at 7-1 Wildcats. We'll see if they can't, kind of thwart some of that in this third quarter and second half as they do maintain possession, trying to set up. And here's one of them deals right there where you're going to give him that look. Big save by Steele, I believe. Merwin with the ground ball. Back to Steele. Steele's got some good vision. He's out of the crease. He's looking. He's going to send it up to one of his poles. That's Merwin, who fights by. Little fake pick by Donley. Merwin looking and goes off to what I believe is Whips, possibly. Going to bring it in, and he's got some space.
That one gets in.
Yeah, and that was a really good shot. There was a lot of traffic, not a ton, but there was traffic in front of the net. Whips had a guy to the goaltender's right, gave a good look, kind of drew the goalie just a little bit of his attention that way, and then opted to keep it, shoot, score, and 8-1 Cats. Whips unassisted.
Yeah, and he was pulling the defense with him as he was moving, and the space never closed down, right? The space kind of stayed open, and, talking about creating time and space for yourself. And again, nice look off, and that's number 8 for the Wildcats.
So we're just under 10 minutes here in Inver Grove Heights, kind of a crosstown rival, different conference, different section, different district for that matter.
Same section, actually.
Same section.
Yeah, actually, we did. We saw them in section
true.
Quarterfinals last year. Yeah, it's a weird thing. They're again just 2-3 miles away from our school, completely different conference. It feels like a different. It feels like we're in a different world, right?
Yeah, we are clearly traveling tonight, if you will. It took us all about 5 minutes to get here, and I'm not sure what the sense of urgency is there. We got guys going to reset play here, but the Spartans were falling back quickly as the Wildcats were booking down to get set up. That's Stone up top, I believe, and he's trying to get something going. Goes behind the net to Schultz, who...
yeah, he's gonna. That's gonna be a hold or
there.
A push or something, right? He got took down. That was pulled him down pretty good. So, speaking of Simley, Invergrove Heights, a bit of a homecoming for you, Ken.
Yes,
your alma mater.
I am. I'm an '84 grad. We did not have turf back in the '80s. It's a beautiful facility, and if you look around the grounds behind us here, Scott, the softball field where they do the field events for track and the baseball diamond, all receive makeovers at some point in the last near 40 years, and they look great. It's a beautiful facility, and they're very lucky to have it. So
yeah, you can see the additions that have been made to both the high school and the middle school. Nice looking 8-lane track here. Feels good to be home.
It sure does. We were here for 7-on-7 for football last year. We had a chance to talk to the athletic director of the Spartans, Will Short. Their team, as it looked like that was Wilson
from Colbert, I believe.
From Colbert, we believe, to make it 9-1. Had a chance to visit briefly at the halftime with the athletic director here at Simley. Congratulate them on their state tournament wrestling championship this past season. 7 out of the last 10, a pretty historic wrestling program here in these parts. So, but at the moment, Scott, we're starting to create some space on the turf for the Wildcats. And, again, too, when you have an opportunity to out-personnel someone, at some point you have to take advantage of it. And as every next goal kind of trickles in, I think we're going to see a little movement, and the Cats will take that freebie. We'll take those face-off wins. I think you're going to see that the Cats are going to gain some confidence in execution. They're not just going to fire shots from the perimeter. I think the MO moving forward is going to be, let's see what we can do and how can we make use of what we do tonight next week and the week after, which, as we know and we'll get to later in the broadcast, are busy weeks for the Wildcats.
Very busy as we get down the stretch here.
Kind of an unforced error there, maybe a little minor miscue back to the goaltender for the Spartans, who's had a fantastic night. The senior, Sivertson, I believe is his last name.
Yeah, Andrew Sivertson.
He's had a great night.
Oh, big. He's, although it's 9-1 and it might sound a little crazy here, we're talking about the goalie on the short end of that 9-1 kind of being the driving force of the game. If he wasn't playing up to the level he is playing at tonight, it's 17-1
Yeah, I was
going
to say 16-17-1. He's had a dozen quality shots stopped. So good for him. He's had a fantastic night. Spartans maintain possession here and are trying to set up.
So I think with the 8-goal lead, it's getting probably to the point where it's going to be a challenge for them to come back. And I think what the Spartans work on is, again, just focus on those fundamentals. Let's catch, let's pass, let's not drop the ball, and see if we can make something happen from there.
I think that's Billy Diffley with the ball from Steele, and he's a big kid, probably 6'5", so doesn't long strides, but still, doesn't not going to outrun too many people. So a quick dish off. He did get it back at the top here as the Spartans' little personnel change and reset. We're at the 7-minute mark here as Wilson drops his shoulder and tries to create some space. Big shot. That's a rocket shot, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, that is that on that. But yeah, I don't know if the goalie saw the ball, to be honest.
No, that's one of them ones where you don't have a lot of chance, because as Wilson starts to approach the net and drops that right shoulder to get underneath that defender, you don't know when he's going to pull that trigger, or if it's going to be a low shot or an upper corner shot. And
the shot's released fast. Not only is the velocity of the shot is fast, it's the release out of the pocket of the stick, and it's hard to pick up.
It really is.
And you know what? This is a time of night where you get a little twilight and you get differing angles of light, and there's probably about a 20-minute period here where it can be really difficult to see that ball. You either want full daylight or full darkness with stadium
with the
light.
lights, exactly. Yeah. So we're kind of caught in the gray zone here. 10-1 Cats, just under 7 minutes, third quarter. The umbrellas are starting to kind of go away. There's a few that are still out in case something happens. Again, one of those kind of elongated face-offs where both guys are clamping down nicely.
It feels like we've made some progress on the face-offs tonight. Again, not clean wins, but slowing things down like we talked about earlier in the telecast, slowing things down, letting our guys come in and help battle for those ground balls. So let's see if that continues for the duration of this game and into next week. That would be a big step forward for this team.
I think Hintermeister's had as much success as anyone as far as just slowing things down to the point of being able to there's a helmet shot to the pole bringing it out, but he's able to dump it over to Thompson. Thompson off the post from Sorensen. Sorensen sent one off the post. Colbert trying to regain possession. Finally, it's whistled dead. I think there's a couple of infractions that potentially could have been called, but we'll see why the stoppage occurred.
I think it's just going to be a push. Oh, a slash, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if that was the one that occurred back here.
Or if it was what occurred up.
It could have been a payback. Really.
Yeah,
this one went to the helmet. Of course, the flag was down here.
It was down here, so it must have, that makes sense.
So Merwin took a blow to the head, and play went on, clearly, because that's how it's done nowadays. And then the ball hit the turf, and we stopped the clock. 6 minutes remaining, quarter three. 10-1 Cats. Could see some things here. A nice man up. So, we'd like to see if we can capitalize, and I think we're already seeing a few more passes than we had when we were man down and somehow got possession in the Spartans' end. Pretty patient. Oh, nice shot there from inside by Gibson, I believe, from Colbert.
It's a good, hey, you know what, we've seen some good things so far from the Eagan man up situation. Crisp ball movement, it's fast. They get good clean shots. Nice rep there by Jack Stone. Great shot.
And again, too, we talk about, the shot from the far perimeter. In an instance like that, there's a lot of traffic between the goaltender and the man shooting. It can create a lot of difficulty in picking that ball up. So if you can rip a shot on net, it's a high percentage shot under some circumstances, clearly. So
and especially the coaches talk about the top side shot, right? There's certain angles on the field where there's high percentage shots where in some cases coaches, hey, these are the spots I want you to shoot from, and if you're not here, you don't shoot. That's one of those top side high percentage shots, right? Even though you're 20 yards away, but Stone had a shooting lane too. To get that through. So we're 11-1 here. We're creeping towards that running time situation here. We have to get to 12, I believe.
5:41 remaining in the third right now. So we have had some running time games recently. Stoppage of play, I would assume a timeout by the Spartans, maybe trying to regroup. And just say, hey, guys, we stayed in it for an extended period of time. I think everyone, a lot of people may have been able to see the writing on the wall that if we're able to set up, kind of do our thing, there's a good chance that we were going to, maybe go up by 7, 8, 9, 10 goals here. So back in the face-off circle, and it looks like that might be Robbie Otto, who's going to get down on the ground here against number 2. For the Spartans, and Jacob Hageman, and see how we fare.
So I think what's developing here is we talked about that seventh goal right before halftime by Jack Stone. It feels like it kind of broke things open. It really broke the back of the Spartans, and it's been all Eagan since then. That's just a tough blow going into halftime, right, where you think you have things under control, and suddenly you don't. Momentum clearly is in Eagan's favor. There was a little burst of energy by the Spartans in the second quarter, but Eagan looks to be fully in control of this game at this point as we're approaching the 5-minute mark of the third quarter.
Meisinger kind of doubled back, and Wildcats having a little trouble kind of getting the ball across the center line. Clearing pass a little high. I don't know if I've seen Schultz get that high in the air. Wow, wide open. Colbert kind of had his opportunity, Ryan Colbert, to kind of pick his shot from Schultz.
Yeah, he did. He got it a little wide on the offensive right-hand side and had some green grass or some green turf to work with and was able to get the goalie held, froze, get a quick shot there, and add another goal for the Wildcats.
So we're 12-1 Wildcats. Just under 5 minutes remaining, period 3. The Cats just need to keep doing what they're doing. And again, I think in the backs of the minds of the coaching staff down on the side, the Eagan sideline, is, how can we make this a productive opportunity and not just go out there and play lacrosse, but to kind of take it looks and see how people are responding. And again, too, at the halfway point of the season, face-off win, Robbie Otto, kind of a tertiary win, but a win just the same. How do we respond to being, 1-0, 6-1, and then how do we handle larger leads? This team's still trying to find its footing, like a lot of them are.
Yeah. We're we need to get to that in a couple 3 or 4 minutes or before we go off there tonight. There's chaos going on all around the lacrosse world of Minnesota. Good shot. That was that Wilson?
I think that was Wilson.
Wilson again.
Probably unassisted and a flag down. We're going to have a Spartan. Oh, wait a minute. Did they wave the goal off? Oh, no, white 5. Okay. Here we go. White 5 slash. I thought I heard a ward. It was unassisted, I believe. Drew Wilson unassisted. I mean, a slash on number 5 for the Spartans. And he'll take a breather. It's Tom Taufin, the pole, the senior pole for Simley.
So there's a lot going on around the we call it the Twin Cities Lacrosse World and focus on the South Suburban Conference. Just when you're about the halfway mark of the regular season, you think you got a feel for how the land is looking, how the real estate looks. Everything just gets mixed up in the last, 48 to 72 hours. We've got 6 teams that look like they want to make a run at this conference title. And, I think everybody hears us talk about the depth of the South Suburban Conference and maybe accuses us a little bit of some homerism, but it's like, look across the board. There's 4 of our teams in the top 10. You start looking at who our 5th and 6th place team could be, potentially not a knock on East. I'm just saying potentially they could be 4th, 5th, 3rd. If you put them up against a 3rd, 4th, or 5th place team from any other conference in the state, they destroy them.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, the depth in this conference is incredible.
It's strong.
There's Eagan, Prior Lake, North, Rosemount. Now you got to talk about Lakeville South. You got to talk about Shakopee, and I'll tell you why. Shakopee lost to North by 1 goal on Tuesday. They beat South by a goal last night. They arrived. They've announced their intention to be competitive. Eastview beat North this week, 12-7. So this thing's kind of up for grabs right now.
It really is.
There's some great lacrosse, and we're going to see some really fun lacrosse in the next 2.5 weeks. And, well, you sometimes wish you had a little easier path to a conference title. Boy, that level of competition is top-notch, and it is exciting to watch. There are some good teams, 7 teams that are pretty solid, and some great players that we have in this conference. So
good hustle. Good hustle by Steele to get a stick out and get the possession back for the Cats. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, that conference championship's important. But, boy, when you look at that Wildcat schedule over the next 2 weeks, talk about a primer for a section tournament. You're right in the meat of your schedule, and you're facing kind of the best of the best.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of teams that the Shakopee, Lakeville South, that people would have said it early, and you're like, they'll be okay. They're 500, right?
Right.
Well, they're showing us that they have the ability to perform at a much higher level than that. There's players on both of those squads. We saw South earlier this week. We'll see Shakopee next week. That they're elite players that are top-notch players that are going to be, in discussions for all section, all state teams. Potentially some All-American opportunities, right? They're in our conference. They're our opponents. It's who we play, and we'll be tested. Nothing. Now you start to look down after, the next 6 games: North, Shakopee, Benilde, Rosemount, Eastview, Prior Lake. That is a gauntlet to battle your way through as you lead into the sectional playoffs.
Got an infraction. Let's see the number. Spartan.
Nice turnaround shot by Cole Gibson.
That puts the Cats up 14-1. Spencer Starkey entering the game on the long stick. for the Wildcats. Another one of the benefits of having a commanding lead is that you do get an opportunity to get a lot of legs on the ground. Looks like we have kicked into run time as well. I'd like to give a shout out to some non-Canadian Canadians. You better check those passports, guys, before you let them back into the country. As long as they're smuggling that fish back in, though, I think we'll be fine with that.
Yeah, no doubt. Those are some good-looking guys.
Yeah, we just got a picture in the booth here, and I'm not so sure that we're going to claim them on the way back in, although we do rely heavily on
I don't
them.
know. Maybe we should call the Border and Protection and Customs Service and you know what? Canada can keep these guys.
That's right. So we're glad to have them up there in the Great White North, following the game on their iPad, and for them it's under 10 seconds, quarter three. We're running time 14-1 Cats, kind of getting an opportunity to do our thing as Wilson uncorks one just before the horn. 15-1 Cats. We're going to be in running time now, most likely for the balance of the game. 3 quarters in the book, Scott. It took a quarter or so-ish for the Wildcats to kind of start playing on a level that you would expect them against the competition. Again, we got some great players on the Spartan side, the goaltender, and they're kind of smattered all over. But again, two programs kind of in 2 different places right now.
Right, and similar to, we talked in the Farmington game, how Farmington started to look tired after a while. And I'm seeing some of the same thing with Simley, right? In addition to some of the unforced errors, they just look tired. And it's like you've been chasing this team around, and you got to worry about everybody on the field. Yeah. And it physically wears on you, and it mentally wears on you. And what you're seeing now is it's a physical and a mental collapse, and we're going to go to running time. And
kind of that culmination of those stressors. And again, too, like you said, and it's a valid point, we're deep. We have a lot to worry about. So it's one thing if you're a couple deep here, a couple deep there. The Wildcats have an answer for about every type of scheme that can be thrown its way. You shut down Wilson, you've got Stone and company, and you shut down Stone and you've got Schultz, and it just goes on and on and on. And I think that level of depth will afford us the luxury of keeping games close when we're very, very evenly matched. And again, when we're in situations where the personnel advantage is Eagan, we can finally get our foot, firmly on the gas and kind of drive this big blue train home.
Yeah, we can, and one of the things we can do here, we've had some themes from early in the season. A good time to look back at it, but we talked about can we find consistent and reliable scoring, and that was something we talked about at our first telecast against Chanhassen. And we were thinking, hey, we think we got 2 or 3. Who are some of the other people that are going to fill in? So, Wilson has not disappointed. Schultz, state assist leader, at least at the start of this game, or tied with the state assist leader. Wilson sitting number 5 or so in goals scored. Stone contributing a lot of goals and assists. Then we said, okay, we need a secondary set of people that can be relied upon too and be a threat. Tanner Whips, Ryan Colbert, Cole Gibson have kind of emerged as that second group of 3. Their play will be critical down the stretch, and if there's another 1 or 2 out there that could do that, that would make this team even more dangerous.
Yeah, clearly.
And you know what? Because of some of the early games we played that were close and tight, our defensive group got a lot of work. And, face-offs was our number 1 concern. I don't think we have that, although things have looked a lot better tonight. We don't have that resolved. We haven't, on the first telecast, we let off with somebody other than Jack Currington's going to be playing goalie. I don't think we've once mentioned concern about the goalie play, and that's a testament to Zach Wallach. That's a testament to Manny Steele. At some point, Coach Felter's got a hard decision to make if he's going to make it, or maybe they're going to split time. We don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Precisely.
We just come up here and talk about the game. We don't have to do the hard work. And
it's a good problem to have, to have 2 guys that you want to go with the hot hand, but right now they're both seeing the ball well. They're able to spell each other, and heaven forbid someone gets nicked up. You don't push the panic button. You've got 2 guys that have got played well, and they've gotten real game time type experiences. And there's Meisinger again. with that long. They might want to measure his stick because I tell you, he gets it. He gets it way, way out, and maybe he's got excessively long arms. But he has had that head of that stick in some of the most undesirable places for the Spartans tonight, as he's probably broken up a half a dozen passes.
Easily. Maybe Meisinger Construction soldered an extra couple inches on the end of the shaft. And
that's entirely possible.
We checked the baskets of the stick, but we
haven't measured them in a while, have we?
We better check that out,
Nice plug for the Meisinger Construction people, and they may be in the business of making those sticks longer because it's clearly looking like that could be the case with Tommy's stick tonight. So 15-1 Wildcats right at the 10-minute remaining mark, as it looked like is Willery that took a shot, kind of got his own rebound, and then kind of stumbled behind the net. There's a scrum to the goaltender's right. Eagan comes up with it. Looks like that might be Sorensen taking it back up top. We're running time.
It
took a nice, I would have been a stick, I believe.
Stick to the foot. Let's hope it just is a whack in the foot. Yeah, it looks like he's going to kind of walk it off.
Yeah, it's always a little concerning when you get a guy that kind of has to hobble off.
Yeah, now he's hopping. He's in a little pain. Let's hope it was just a whack across the top of the foot and there's no broken bones. It doesn't make it feel any better right now. But
he'll probably shake it off. But, yeah, it does hurt. And he's getting some support from his teammates down there as he might loosen the laces up on that cleat. Take a look.
And he's a Sorensen. He's tough. He'll walk it off, right?
I think that could indeed be the case. So Cats go man up, and they'll probably wind up being pretty selective with their opportunity. Looks like Colbert gave a good look, and probably a big save.
Yeah,
and I think
another big save, yeah.
Goalie kicked it out to his right, and he got a pole that's going to gain the midfield line, running up the ice. He's going to get driven out, though, by Whips, who's giving him just fits over there. He was able to clear it, but again, he's just being harassed and was not able to get a good clearing pass, and Donley will scoop it up and get us started here with 8:30 remaining quarter for 15-1 Cats.
So Monday night, Lakeville North. Every matchup's big now, but this one, I think the players, the fans kind of looking forward to this. I would fully expect that the Panthers from was that Wilson again? Drew Wilson?
Oh, yeah. I don't know that I kind of stepped back behind a sight line obstructor. You bring up Lakeville North. We did forecast ahead a little bit in our Tuesday game, but we did not want to look past the Spartans because
no.
They're out here. And as I look across, and Scott, you can probably catch it too, it looks like the rain is actually visibly falling. It's light. It still isn't coming down. We look up towards the lights over that standard. You can just see it. But I do think the time is right now to mention where we're going to be on Monday night. And keys to that game, Scott, since we've brought it up with 16-1 Cats, 7:29 remaining.
They're a solid team. They've played did they lose a game? Maybe they should have won. Sure. They are solid offensively. They're smart and disciplined defenses out through the middle. They're a good quality team. They're going to be a tough matchup. They don't have don't have a cadre of superstars that maybe a Benilde has, but they're solid. They're deep. They're solid. It's going to be a competitive game. They're a good team. They're a really good team, and it's going to be a big test for the Wildcats, and big game in the South Suburban Conference.
Well, I was just going to say, it's one thing as you're starting to wind down in that, get that second half of the season started, start to think section seedings and section play. It is a huge game in the South Suburban Conference, so that is another piece to the puzzle. But yes, clearly they'll give us one of our finest looks so far this season, and if the Cats answer the bell, it's going to be a gigantic accomplishment. We have every confidence that they will. And that game is just, it is just 48 hours away from now, and it's going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah. I think, we're going to be talking about face-offs again Monday night.
Yeah, afraid so. But that's okay. Like I say, we've got a bit of an answer for that, and that's perseverance. Just, other aspects of the game are going to have to backfill for that slight deficiency right now until that finds its level.
And one concern, so they play St. Thomas tomorrow. So that's a big game for St. Thomas, big game for North. They want to kind of shake off shake off a recent loss to Eastview, right? They probably thought they should have won that game. Then they got to come back for us 2 days later. For the Wildcats, the last 2 games you get a 16-1, a 23-2. The challenge is you got to get out of the mode of a game like this because you slow down. You maybe aren't at 100%. And I'm not questioning the players' efforts at all. I'm saying it's human nature. You're going to dial it down a little bit when you get a lead like this. You got to go back to 100% and stay there and be there. And a risk is that Lakeville North's coming off of probably a competitive game. They're there. They're ready.
Yep.
And you got to dial yourself back up to be at that level of performance that you need to be to compete with a team like that.
Nice shot saved by Steele as the Spartans were kind of applying a little pressure, and he got a good look. Steele down to his knees, made the save, kind of had to look between his calves or his legs to find the ball, which was safely placed underneath him. We're under 5 minutes now, 4:40, 16-1 Cats over here in Inver Grove. Scott, Ken, and our good friends Nick and Aaron from Eagan TV helping out tonight. We are warm and dry, certainly dry, and not too bad. The temps held tonight nicely.
No, yeah, it has.
And we should be good. I don't know the forecast for Monday's contest. And that's a factor, as part of the equation. Is it going to be one of them situations that creates, a little bit more parity than there may already be? But I like your analogy of a big game for the Panthers tomorrow, a competitive game, and we're coming off a couple games where we were able to shift into a different mode. We need to be ready to go on Monday, and I clearly believe that we will be.
Yeah, and it's we talk about being ready to go on Monday, and I looked, we looked down the balance of the schedule, and are there a couple bigger games than others? But I think if you're not ready to go for any one of those games, it's a loss waiting to happen.
Spells
right?
disaster. Yeah, and there are some big ones.
We're not. Hey, it would be like awesome if we ran the table and
Absolutely.
we're 12-1. It's a tough schedule. You might hit a bump or two, and that's okay. If you learn from it, grow from it, make some adjustments, it's all about the section playoffs that start on May 31st.
Agreed. I think we all know that it is peaking at the right time in any sport. Are we preparing for that section tournament every time we take the field? Absolutely. But it is about peaking at the right time. And the Cats are doing a lot of things right. There are some fundamental things and some personnel things that we are going to have to continue to work out. Will they be a little more prominent under some circumstances? Absolutely. Yep. But have we found an answer for some of those things? And when we say some of those things, we talk about our face-off by committee right now. We're taking advantage of our fast LSMs. We're taking advantage of being tenacious in the circle. And so far, we've had a much better outing the last couple with regard to that. So
it's and the goal is to come together, and we talked about this phase of the schedule. Like, the advantage of it is with a young team. We talked about all those new players coming up, getting varsity experience. That when you have a game like this in Apple Valley, a Farmington, a Burnsville, you get a chance to work some of those kinks out, right, and get a chance to see what people can do, solve some problems. Now it's game time, right? Now it's time to put it all to work. But hey, for us to go down this list of themes: face-off, possession, goalie, defense, finding consistent scoring. We're moving in the right direction on 4 of them.
Yeah, clearly.
And I think we are in the face-off, too. We've seen some progress in it. It's going to come. It's going to happen. It takes a little longer, right?
Well, we saw Hintermeister in there tonight. He had some wild success. He was clamped down, battling in the circle. Cats are back at full strength. We're well under 2 minutes now, 1:34 remaining. 17-1 with that goal.
It was Jack Thompson.
It was Thompson.
Yep.
I think number 23, Jack Thompson with the goal. I don't recall if there was an assist again.
I didn't hear or see one, but that doesn't necessarily.
So 17-1 Cats, and we're at the 1 minute mark here as we kind of wind down both this game and this broadcast. And again, too, I think, you know, you don't want to get out of your lane here, but when we came into the booth tonight, we were thinking that this could very well have been a conceivable outcome.
Yep.
But again, too, you know, the Spartans did what they needed to do. And the game plan for a lot of teams is to take the ball away from the Wildcats. You know, we can't score. Face-off win there for
that was Patrick Ryman.
That was our freshman Patrick Ryman. Dumps one off to Ryan Colbert, who fires one just to the right of the goaltender with a half a minute remaining. Hey, slow the game down, try to control possession, and it kept the Spartans respectably in the game for quite a while.
Shot sails a little high, and that's
going to effectively just about do it with 15 seconds remaining. Number 2, Ryan Colbert, digs it out of the soccer net, and he's going to try to set up one last shot. Don't know if it connected that pass with 3, 2, and 1 horn.
That'll do it.
And that's going to do it for tonight's broadcast and our lacrosse contest. Wildcats feeling pretty good. Again, it wasn't just a win, but it was a decisive win. So we clearly took care of business. And in the kind of fashion I think that you need to against a team like the Spartans. You don't want to come out here and win, you know, a 4-goal game, you know, 12-8 or something. Not heading into a weekend of reflection, a weekend of preparation, and ultimately a big, huge game. First of many for the Wildcats starting on Monday against the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the result you wanted, right? We get a chance to get a number of players into the game, get some varsity action, get some exposure. Coaches get a look at them. We saw that, you know, on last night, Thursday night too, and that's good for the team. That's good for the program, right? Because if some of these guys aren't playing as much now, they will be next year.
Absolutely.
Right? And if there's injuries, if there's other things happening, you need that depth, and this team is deep. We see even, you know, as the game wears on, the passing, everything stays looking pretty consistent and pretty sharp. So Syvertson, some big saves tonight. It could have been 28-1. I think part of the reason we kept him to 1 goal. We had some success on the faceoffs. We held them up. We won a few, let our LSMs get in there, and we didn't give them a chance to pick it up and run and set up possession. And when they did, our poles, our middies on the defensive side held court, just took care of business, right? Yep. And some big stops by Manny Steele too.
So, folks, we appreciate you being along for the ride. For Scott, myself, Ken, our gracious host, the Inver Grove Heights High School, the Simley Spartans, our good friend Aaron and Nick with Eagan TV. We're going to sign off here at 17-1 Wildcats with the win tonight. We're going to see you again on Monday night as we will be doing battle with the Lakeville North Panthers, a South Suburban clash. This is Ken and Scott, Eagan TV, signing off. Have a great weekend.